I'm not in Delft today is because I'm meeting with Ron Jeffries. Well, Ron is one of the persons behind the Agile Manifesto. So I'm really keen to get some inspiration from him. Okay, Ron, thanks for spending some time with me today. You're one of my heroes, and that's because of the blog post you wrote on baseball. You wrote this blog about we tried baseball and it didn't work for us. Can you tell me a little bit about your motivation to write the post?
Yes, that's one of my favorite little articles. I wrote it because we see so many people saying, I tried Agile and it didn't work, and we find out they didn't really try it at all, that they did some partial version of it or sometimes none of it. And so I wrote that little story about people that went out and tried to play baseball, and instead of having a ball they had a wad of socks, and instead of having a bat they had sticks, and instead of having a lot of players they had 3, and it was just a pleasant thing to write because I get to be so sarcastic about these people who think that
I especially like the part where you said, well, if you only have a few people, why do you need 4 bases? Only use 1 home base, so that's more efficient. You don't have to run so far.
That's right. So it was one of those, I've got to get this all out kind of a deal. So let me just curse at everyone and put it out in a form that people will find kind of. I
use it very much. I mean, when we do training in Scrum, it's very easy to people say, oh, we already do this, so we can change that. Why do the stand-ups? We can do a sit-down and stuff like that. And I always give them your post. I print it out. I give it to them and say, read this. I mean, you're new, so just try to do it by the book first. Right. When you've gained the experience, you can change whatever you want for your purpose, but first play the game according to the rules.
Yeah. I would like people to live in the real Agile space for a while before they decide what else to do.
Exactly.
Just so they can experience what it's really like.
Well, like Ken Schwaber says, you don't have to do it this way, but if you do differently, don't call it Scrum.
Exactly.
Call it something else.
Exactly.
Something else. I recall you were there when the Agile Manifesto was created and signed. Is that correct?
I was lucky to go to that.
Can you give me a little bit about the hindsight, what happened there and how the manifesto came up?
It was a very interesting and mostly collegial meeting because almost all of us knew almost all of us. And I don't know that anyone really knew Ari van Bennekom. And I had never met Stephen Mellor, certainly. We knew who those people were, but we didn't know them. And so it was not a contentious meeting so much as just a bunch of people who all believed similarly coming together to meet. And I don't remember who said we should do a manifesto, whether that might have been Ward or Bob Martin or somebody. But we all just kind of gathered around and said, okay, let's try it. And we started writing down values that we shared and principles that we believed in. And it was a pleasant meeting. It wasn't an antagonistic meeting at all.
Well, the manifesto survived, eh?
Yeah, it has. And when we got together at the Agile conference a couple years ago, we all found that we just kind of sat right down and started talking again. It was great.
Okay, well, you're here now in the Netherlands to teach Scrum to developers and to Scrum Masters.
Mm-hmm.
What's your main message when you send them out? Because you're let's say, also have a background in programming. What do you give them with them when they leave your class?
We make them do the practices that we believe in for the 3 days, and at the end of that period, we pretty much just say to them, okay, you have practiced doing what we do for a few days. Take that home with you, maybe try it a little bit more, and see how much of that you want to absorb into your own practice. And we really want to leave them in a position of making their own decision, having experienced kind of a pure moment of how you do this stuff.
Okay. Ron, thank you for your time. I'm going to think about this. I'm going to write about this. And thank you very much.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Lately, I ran into some organizations that do SINO, Scrum in name only. They say they do Scrum, but when you look a little bit further, it's nothing like that. And I suppose that's also the reason why Ron Jeffries wrote his famous column, "We've tried baseball and it didn't work for us," in which he writes away his frustration of people trying to change the rules of the game already before they knew it. So they completely changed the game of baseball so that it doesn't resemble baseball at all, and then come to the conclusion that baseball is no fun at all. I see this with Scrum as well. I see teams replacing the daily stand-up with a weekly sit-down. I see them appointing a Scrum Master. Who's also product owner at the same time, but also used to be the project manager. Or see environments where there's a design team running a sprint, handing the work over to a development team running a sprint, handing the work over to a test team running a sprint. Well, that's not Scrum, and we all know it. So if you really want to do Scrum, you want to do it well, do it by the book. Learn the rules by doing Scrum according to the book. So, when you're in an organization and people try to change Scrum before they already understand it, there's a very easy reply. Just ask them to submit a change proposal to scrum.org. Ken will take a look at your change proposal, Jeff will take a look at your change proposal, and if they find it a good idea, it will find its way into Scrum. They will just adapt the Scrum Guide. But until the day that the change your proposal is in the Scrum Guide, we're not ready to use it. We do it by the book. So that's an easy reply to do it. And if you're still in an environment where you want to turn things around and change things completely, that's fine. Eh? You can do whatever you want. Only one thing, please, do not call it Scrum.
This videoblog is sponsored by Awareness.
And Frans, have you taped it?
Yeah, Rini, it's a wrap.
And what do you think about it?
Well, the SINO thing reminded me of the weekend.
Oh, why?
Well, my wife, man, she ordered me to go with her to her mother.
And?
Well, I didn't go.
No?
No. I got a MINO, man.
A MINO?
A marriage in name only.
A colleague of mine had a joke, but I don't think it fits to this. Because I was telling you I was taping with Ron Jeffries. He said, "Hey, going to tape with Ron Jeremy's?"
That's right. Yeah, that is a joke I don't care for. Yeah, I'm the guy with the big brain.